The MLB trade deadline passed today at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and there was a massive flurry of activity. So many new faces and new places, but we're going to go over today the biggest winners of the MLB trade deadline. Now, how do we find out the biggest winners? We only know at the end of the season with which team is able to go home with a World Series trophy. Sometimes the best moves to make are no moves. Some teams have it all together already. Some teams need to make little tweaks, and some teams, need to go all in, a la the San Diego Padres. So we're going to get all into that in just a second right after this. What is up, YouTube? It is your boy NMR Sports here, come back at you with another MLB video, and today we're going to be going over the biggest winners of the MLB trade deadline. Don't forget to leave a like on the video if you enjoy it to help it reach more baseball fans, and don't forget to subscribe for more daily MLB content. We post new videos every single day. We're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the season. I know it's a lofty goal, but I think we can hit it. And before we get into it, don't forget to leave down in the comments below who you think the biggest winner of the trade deadline was. I think it's pretty obviously the San Diego Padres, spoiler alert, but let me know if there's other teams that I left off this list that you think were winners. There's a lot of teams on the fence, but here we're going to go over a couple of my personal favorites. So first, we're going to start off with the San Diego Padres. Now, the San Diego Padres are already in a pretty good spot in the wild card race. They're not necessarily in a great spot for the division race. However, they just went absolutely insane. I think it's pretty obvious. You probably saw it in the thumbnail. Obviously, the Padres are winners of this deadline. This is their projected starting lineup now. You got Jerks and Profar leading off still, which isn't the best, but he's still been pretty solid this season. Manny Machado in the 2-hole, Juan Soto in the 3, Josh Bell batting 4th, Brandon Drury batting 5th. One of the most underrated moves of the trade deadline, Brandon Drury. Jake Cronenworth in the 6-hole, Ha-Seong Kim there as well, Austin Ola, Trent Grisham. And as we all know, Fernando Tatis Jr. is coming back soon, so he's going to be injected in this lineup. Having a punch of Juan Soto, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., and then you add in Josh Bell, Brandon Drury, Jake Cronenworth, this is going to be, for my money, it might be the best lineup in baseball. I don't think it's that hot of a take to say this could be the best lineup in baseball. I don't think anybody has a 1-2-3 punch like Soto, Tatis, and Machado. The Dodgers have a very good lineup. The Yankees have a very good lineup. I think this is the most dangerous 1-2-3 punch in all of baseball, though. I don't know. Let me know if you guys disagree, but I personally think that. And then, of course, the Padres also added to their bullpen, so they have Josh Hader closing games for them now. One of the most dominant closers that we've seen, especially at this point in his career of all time, if I'm being completely honest. I believe Chris Rose, I was listening to one of his podcasts the other day, and he said he has the highest strikeouts per 9 of all time through 300 innings pitched, as well as the lowest whip. Josh Hader, dominant closer. They added to the heart of the lineup with one of the best hitters of all time. Josh Bell's a fantastic pickup, and Brandon Drury, like I said, I think that is the piece of the puzzle that is going to bring it all together for the San Diego Padres. So obviously they get an A+. I love this team. This is AJ Preller. Bravo, man. He just went all in and he is ready to go. Do I think they're necessarily a favorite to win the World Series? No. But this team is good enough to sneak in. This is a team that is going to be an absolute force in the postseason with that lineup. I do think their pitching staff is still a little weak. I would have liked to see them add another starting pitcher. Joe Musgrove is fantastic. Yu Darvish is good. I think he's kind of past his prime right now. Blake Snell, I'm not a huge fan of. Sean Manaea's been okay. Clevenger's been okay. I'm not a huge fan of this rotation, but Josh Hader's a lockdown closer. Their bullpen's been okay, and then their lineup is just phenomenal, man. And they have pretty good depth in their on their bench as well. So really like what the Padres did. Biggest winner of the trade deadline for sure. Next up, we're gonna go with a little bit of a smaller winner, and that is the Houston Astros. Their notable additions were Trey Mancini, Christian Vasquez, and Will Smith. The relief pitching Will Smith, not the catcher Will Smith. Don't get too excited, Astros fans. But this is a pretty damn good lineup if you ask me. Jose Altuve, this is one of those teams like I talked about. They don't need to make any big moves. They traded for Trey Mancini. They traded for, Christian Vasquez, which is a much better bat than Martin Maldonado, obviously. And then Will Smith will be good in their bullpen. So their lineup reads like this now. Jose Altuve, Trey Mancini, Yordan Alvarez, Alex Bregman, Kyle Tucker, Yuli Gurriel, Jeremy Pena, Jake Myers, and Martin Maldonado. They do have some guys on the IL at the moment, but Christian Vasquez as well, another catching option there. Chas McCormick, Mauricio Dubon, and Aledmys Diaz as well. So pretty good depth there in Houston. You know, Aledmys Diaz is a very good depth piece, one of my favorites in all of baseball. Chas McCormick is a pretty decent outfield backup to have there as well. And then Christian Vasquez is obviously a much better hitter than Martin Maldonado, and he's nothing to scoff at defensively. He's pretty damn good there as well. But obviously, I think they're going to need a big bat there. They also just announced, what's his name? The other catcher they had, the lefty, Jason Castro. He's going to be out for the season. So this is a big pickup for them. I do really like the Christian Vasquez move, and I like the Trey Mancini move as well. Yuli Gurriel's been struggling pretty bad this season, but Trey Mancini, definitely a rental over there in Houston. And then, of course, like I said, they got Will Smith to enter into the middle of this bullpen, and I really like him in that role in the middle of this bullpen. They got Ryan Presley, who's been a great closer. Rafael Montero, one of the best relievers in baseball for my money. This dude is solid. Hector Neris is very solid. Ryan Stanek has been lights out. This bullpen is just nasty, and Will Smith in the middle of it, I like. I wouldn't like it if he was their closer, but since he's in the middle, I think it's a very good move for the Astros. And overall, their roster is just so complete. They got a nasty postseason rotation. They got a nasty postseason lineup. For my money, I still think they're the favorite out of the American League. The Yankees are definitely hot on their trail, so let's talk about the Yankees next. Now, the New York Yankees, obviously a big winner at the trade deadline. Their most noteworthy moves we'll go over real quick. Andrew Benintendi was a huge addition. Frankie Montas. Lou Trevino also came over in the Frankie Montas deal. And then Harrison Bader, right at the buzzer. They swap out Jordan Montgomery for Harrison Bader. They also let go of Joey Gallo, traded him over to the Los Angeles Dodgers, who were surprisingly quiet at the deadline. I was a little bit surprised there, but this lineup looks very, very, very solid. I would argue this lineup's a little bit better than the Astros, 1 through 9. However, I think the Astros have a little bit more pop. Yordan Alvarez, I think, is a better hitter than Aaron Judge. You can quote me on that, call it a freezing cold take, whatever you want. Yordan Alvarez is a better hitter than Aaron Judge. I'm going to say it, enunciate it a little bit more. And they have a little bit more depth, but the Yankees have a very good, especially top-heavy lineup. DJ LeMahieu, Aaron Judge, Anthony Rizzo, Gleyber Torres, Andrew Benintendi, Josh Donaldson, Aaron Hicks, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. A lot of Yankees fans don't like him. And then Jose Trevino, pretty solid number there. Kyle Higashioka, Matt Carpenter's been an absolute stud this year. Marwin Gonzalez has been pretty good for them. Tim LeCastro has been on and off. And then, of course, Giancarlo Stanton on the injured list. He's going to come back and hopefully be a very, very, very good bat for them in the postseason. He's been very clutch in the past. And then this rotation. I'm a little split on this rotation. So Garrett Cole, still a very, very good pitcher, and he's been lights out in the postseason in the past. Frankie Montas is very good. He's above average. I'm not scared. I'm not terrified of Frankie Montas. Don't get me wrong, it is a very, very good rotation. I'm just not too scared of it. I think Frankie Montas is hittable a little bit. I don't know. It's a good move. This is about trade deadline. This is about the moves. Is their rotation better than it was before the trade deadline? Absolutely. So you got Garrett Cole, Frankie Montas, Nestor Cortez, and then hopefully getting Luis Severino back fully healthy by the end of September. That's going to be huge for them. And that could be a very damn good, very solid playoff rotation. It's not necessarily, like the New York Mets with their two-headed monster there in DeGrom and Scherzer, but it is still a very, very solid and a very deep rotation. If one of these guys struggles early in a game, they could kind of switch things around. I don't know who's going to be the odd man out. I would assume it'd be Nestor Cortez, but having Nestor Cortez as a long reliever in the postseason would be a fantastic option for the Yankees there. Outside of that, they also added Scott Effross, and then, like I said, Lou Trevino as well, which I think are very good pickups. I think Scott Effross will really fill out that role, or that big hole that Michael King left there. We all know Michael King went on the injured list. Clay Holmes has been a lights-out closer. Jonathan Loaizaga just came back from the injured list. Hopefully he's doing better. Wandy Peralta has been pretty solid. Overall, they've got a very, very solid bullpen. And then, of course, Harrison Bader and Giancarlo Stanton currently on the 10-day injured list. They'll be back pretty soon. Luis Severino will be back at some point. And they still got some other good guys on the injured list. I will be honest, I'm not sure when any of these guys are coming back. I believe Michael King's out for the season. The other three guys, I think Chad Green's out for the season too. Britton and Castro, I'm not super sure on. But I digress. Great bullpen, solid rotation, and a great lineup. The Yankees are a force to be reckoned with. The Astros and the Yankees, man. It's so clear that the Astros and the Yankees are the two teams to beat in the postseason. Next up, we got the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, this one hurts a little bit because the Phillies, I feel like, kind of fleeced my Angels. The Angels will definitely be in this loser video that I'm going to make right after this. But Brandon Marsh was a huge addition there. They've been needed a lot of help defensively in the outfield. And Brandon Marsh, while his bat's been a little bit cold, he has been fantastic on the defensive side of the ball in left field. He can also be a great center fielder, right fielder, wherever you put him. He's going to be a great glove out there in the field. And I've seen flashes of him being able to hit. He's only 24 years old, former top 50 prospect. I think he definitely has the stuff to hit if he had a good hitting coach. He didn't have that in Anaheim, so hopefully he's going to be doing well here. They also added Noah Syndergaard to their rotation, currently slotted in as their number 4, it looks like, with Ranger Suarez, but Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, Noah Syndergaard, that's going to be a fantastic 1-2-3 punch. It adds some rotation depth, and then, of course, they added a big bullpen arm in David Robertson, which I am very, very happy for. David Robertson, I think, was the best relief pitcher available in the at the trade deadline. I'm really glad he went to a team that needs huge bullpen help like the Philadelphia Phillies. So I think David Robertson is going to be a fantastic arm for the Phillies in that bullpen. Honestly, the move I was most excited for was easily the David Robertson one. And of course, Bryce Harper is going to be coming back. So this lineup's going to be nasty with Kyle Schwarber, Rhys Hoskins, Alec Boehm, a guy I really was hoping the Angels would get in the trade deadline. JT Romito, Nick Castellanos, Derek Hall's been pretty good, but that's Bryce Harper's spot, obviously. Bryson Stott, and then even Didi Gregorius can hit a little bit. He has been slumping quite a bit this season, though, so... And then Brandon Marsh in the 9 spot. So I really like the Phillies lineup. I love the rotation. Their bullpen isn't fantastic, but David Robertson in the back end is huge in my opinion. Really glad they make that move. Easily one of the winners of the trade deadline. Next up, we got the Minnesota Twins, and the Minnesota Twins did not make any moves in regards to their lineup, which has been pretty solid in a weak, albeit a weak division in the AL Central. They made some really, really, really good pitching moves, though. Added Tyler Mahle to the rotation. Did give up some pretty big prospects in that one. The Reds are another team I would like to talk about as an honorable mention. But Tyler Mahle in that rotation definitely adds to the top here in Sonny Gray and Tyler Mahle. I will say I don't necessarily... I know Joe Ryan I do like, I'll be honest. That's a pretty good 1-2-3. Is it enough to get deep in the postseason? I don't think so. I think they're really just making these moves to secure their spot at the top of the AL Central. I love, might be my favorite move of the deadline. Jorge Lopez, man. Jorge Lopez, shut down closer over in Minnesota. That is something they've desperately needed all season, so that might be my favorite move of the deadline. And then Michael Fulmer there in the bullpen as well. So honestly, this back end of the bullpen starting to look a little bit better to me. And then Jorge Lopez, man. I can't say enough good things about how good this trade is. He went from the Orioles, who are a competitive team, albeit, but they're not really in that competitive window yet. I'm really happy with what the Orioles did and got some prospect depth, and then I'm really happy that the Twins got a lockdown closer. So very, very good moves for the Twins. I think this gives them the edge over the White Sox in the AL Central currently. Obviously, they have the record edge, and now I think they have the bullpen depth and the good lineup and rotation to go all together to stay on top of that division into late September. Now, before we get into our final team, I would like to give some honorable mentions out to teams that were sellers at the deadline, but I think did a very, very good job at selling. Some teams, like my Angels, did a really bad job of selling. These two teams, however, I think did absolutely fantastic. And that's going to be the Reds and the Orioles. First, we'll start with the Orioles here. The Orioles got rid of Trey Mancini as well as Jorge Lopez. And what they got back Chase McDermott, who's their number 12th ranked prospect now. Got that guy back, as well as getting Seth Johnson from the Tampa Bay Rays, who slots in as their number 8 prospect. And then they also added one more, and that is going to be Cade Povich, who's going to be all the way down here at 26. So they added 3 top 30 prospects in their already stacked farm system. And they're going to have an opportunity to re-sign Trey Mancini in the offseason. And they have so many good arms in this in their farm system, that I think they're going to be plenty okay with their back end of their bullpen, even though Jorge Lopez was a very big piece for them especially in that stacked bullpen they've had there in Baltimore. And then the Cincinnati Reds, man, what can I say? They added Noelvi Marte, who's their new number 1 prospect. Let me just go, I have a list right here. Let me go through this. So Noelvi Marte, their number 1. Edwin Arroyo, their number 6. Spencer Steer, their number 7. Christian Encarnacion Strand, Levi Stout, and Steve Hajar, I don't know how to pronounce his name, as well as Andrew Moore. So they added, 6 top 30 prospects in their system, as well as another prospect. They did a very, very good job of this selling at this deadline. I think Luis Castillo was the biggest overpay of the deadline, which is going to be kind of ironic when you see my next winner. And our final winner of the MLB trade deadline is going to be the Seattle Mariners. Now, the Seattle Mariners made some big moves, the biggest, of course, being Luis Castillo into the rotation. It's a very good 1-2-3. Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo, and Robbie Ray. That's going to be very, very good in the postseason. And having Chris Flexen, Marco Gonzalez, and George Kirby coming out of the bullpen come October would be huge for the Seattle Mariners team. I think this is the one. This is the one that breaks the curse, the one that makes it to October finally after 20 plus years. Huzzah, Mariners fans, you have finally done it. Luis Castillo, like I said, was the biggest overpay of the trade deadline in my opinion, but it's also a very, very good move and is going to help carry the Mariners to the postseason. Do they have a shot at the World Series? In my opinion, absolutely not. The Astros and the Yankees are way too good for the Mariners to compete. However, they will make the postseason this year, which I think has got to be the goal in Seattle at the moment. So that is going to do it for us in this one. Let me know if you guys agree with my picks, if you think there were some winners that I left out, or if you think some of these teams aren't necessarily very big winners. I think it's pretty clear that the Yankees and the Padres were the top 2 winners. They just had incredible hauls, but there were some other pretty big winners out there as well. Don't forget to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, help it reach more baseball fans, and subscribe for more daily MLB content. This is the first of like 6 videos I'm about to record tonight, so this one's going up right away. The other ones will be posted tomorrow afternoon. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the comment section. Have a great rest of your day.